The topic we have today is when achievement becomes armor. When I start using my achievement as a shield to protect me against some pain, insults, bullying, or comparisons, that's one of the survival mechanisms, coping mechanisms that we develop as a child. And some could be given to me by my parents. This child who developed some kind of patches, typically on his face, but started spreading across his body. And obviously, the boy was in third, fourth grade. Uh, all other kids are curious, adults are also curious, and they say, "Oh, how cute the boy was, now look at him." Or, "Oh, the black patch guy, come here." All that bullying happens. And the boy would come home crying, and mother did not know what to do. So one of the things that occurred to her, the boy was intelligent, so she said, "Well, you will be the topper of the class. Anybody who bullies you, you use that as your armor. That nobody can tease you. So anytime they tease, he will throw at them a puzzle, a question, or something, and they cannot answer it. So he'll use that bullying back at other children, including adults, including teachers, relatives, whoever, wherever he felt that he was going to be invaded, he used this armor. You know, started, growing up with that didn't go away for whatever reason. No amount of treatment, whatever, vanished, helped it go away. So that became his identity. Nobody can question him for anything. He's grown up now, he's about 27, 28, but that arrogance, nobody can touch me, nobody can challenge me, I will challenge you instead. The conversations, whenever you sit with him, begins with, "Okay, there is this puzzle, can you solve it?" If you can't solve, "Oh, look at me, I'm smart and you're dumb." It comes to that simple language that sounds so accusatory, that sounds so insulting, because that's the insults he took before he developed this mechanism, where his achievement is being used as armor, right? So these achievements may look like topping the class, performing, being one person out, just like this black patches separated me, made me stand out. I will also use my performance, or in any field, the best karate kid, the best singer, the best academic achievement, whatever that is. So everybody will admire me, will look up to me, will, more than that, will not insult me, will not put me down. So the deep underlying layer is more that I want to survive. It's a question of my survival. So we pounce upon every small thing, and we will wonder, especially if there is a person around who is very arrogant, out of norm, then somewhere we need to understand that deep down there is a fear. The question they may be asking themselves is, if I stop performing, will people still value me? Will people still talk nicely to me? Will I be of any worth? These are very devastating questions for a human being. I want to be accepted, I want to be loved unconditionally. However, the society around me has lots of conditions. So we want to begin with understanding myself. Adults also carry this as an armor. I worked with a principal one time. So anybody who walked in for an interview who was really good, to an extent, if they were better than her, she would never hire them. It was a school that was just coming up and we needed very good people. But no, they had to be someone who will accept her, who will respect her, who will look up to her. So anyone on equals may look at her in her eyes. She would never hire them. Very insecure. And we see that in many places, especially my job, my position as a leader is questioned, I may not compromise. I may do anything to protect it. Somewhere, my achievements are becoming my armor. And this one needs to be constantly polished. I need to be constantly aware. I mean, who is coming around? Who is getting better than me? Who should I put down? Who should I let go? How can I protect my own identity? We start lying, we start covering. It's very painful journey. It's easier to heal that fear. Where is that fear coming from? With this boy, it went back to that first day when they saw that visible patch. I have another case study where this girl, she was almost like in her 40s, very accomplished, very capable. Then she developed this balding, alopecia. Her hair started falling out, and she quit her job and stayed home. She just couldn't face the world. Body shaming is so very rampant. I mean, we see ourselves spending so much on looking young, looking beautiful, not accepting who I am, what I look like. I want to cover up. And that covering up is by something very, should be something better than what others can easily shake it off. That is where we begin achieving. Some of us may just withdraw, may get depressed, but some of us are there who will go out of my way to get accolades, and everyone is like, wow, look at them, they're so good. But then there are some other people also, he has achieved so much, wish only he didn't have those the dark patches. That will also be there. So as long as I'm relying on the outside world to prove my value, to prove my worth, I'm going to continue to struggle despite any kind of an achievement. This is what we need to see. I mean, we have been talking about what Rudolf Steiner has said. It is about nurturing, educating, strengthening the whole human being. It is not just achievement, which could be intellectual in nature. Or if I become a great performer, visual arts, dancer, a singer, it could be more of will doing it, and the feeling gets lost in here. So the doing, the feeling, the thinking, all have to kind of come together to raise me as a whole complete human being. That balance has to be there on daily basis in everything I do every single day. That has to creep in somewhere. If this child, if this boy would have said, I love solving problems, I can solve problems, it is challenging, give me challenges, I can resolve, then his focus would have been on using his intellect in solving a problem rather than showing that I'm intelligent to cover up the fear that people may bully me. That is what healthy excellence looks like. That is when my achievement will not be my armor, it is just me. I love doing it, not because I want to hide something. So, finding that underlying feeling, belief is very, very important. Covering it up could be, I cannot let people see my weakness. I have heard this story about Sir Vishweshwaraya. He apparently never ever greeted his visitors at home without being properly dressed. He had to have his suit on, he had to have his turban on, and he would not mind making people wait for 30 minutes, 40 minutes, if he was not dressed appropriately to greet them. For him, it was a respect that he was giving his guest. And there are other people, we have heard about all the Bollywood actresses, who never step out without makeup. They have to cover up so many of the scars. And there are a lot of normal people like us too, who will not step out without having to cover something up. Fragile, we become very fragile. Outwardly we may all look like very accomplished, we are achieving, but inwardly they're very, very different. Being healthy and working out of creating this achievement as an armor are two different worlds inside me. So for parents, when your child begins to panic, when they're feeling guilty, if they're resting and they're feeling guilty, somewhere they think they have to hide failures, they don't tell you their marks, they compare themselves. It may not be us comparing, but they're comparing themselves, not to themselves, but to someone else constantly. Someone is better than me. How can I make adults also, right? How can I make more money than them? How can I have a better car than them? All of these. And some children keep coming back to us and saying, are you proud of me? Are you really proud of me? Do you love me? So who do you love? What kind of things do you see? The little older children keep asking you this. So we are looking at wanting to belong. I want to be part of this family. I want to be part of this class. I want to be part of this society. But I am systematically being cut out by adults around, by people around. So I use something else. Right? So I have to, as a parent, of course we celebrate achievements, but also check at what cost is it coming. In this particular boy, in this case, mother was very happy that he was the topper, and yes, Putta, you're good. This is how we should do. And put them down, answer them properly. Don't let anybody beat you, and celebrate it. Yeah, my son got the first rank, and go give out the sweets to the neighborhood, call everybody and keep telling them and whatnot. But also be curious. Is the child truly happy? What if, 7, 8 year old, you can talk. What if you don't get that full marks in next test on math? How would you feel? Just be curious. When I got less marks, how did I feel? Talk about it. Let that achievement become one of the expressions. I'm not saying hide it, negate it. No. But let it be one of the normal expressions. Yes, I scored out and I'm super happy with myself. Great. How do you feel if you don't get out in the next test? Well, I'll try again to, restore that status. Great. But I will tear up the paper, hook or crook, all these malpractices begin. I want to be better than you, so I make sure I hide your books, I steal your books, and I distract others so they don't achieve, but I achieve, and only I achieve. All of these are because of the fear underlying. And that is what I need to become aware of my child. Be curious, keep talking to them. Do not exaggerate, celebrate, but then move on. It's one of the events. So let us not help child use this as an armor, but as a matter of fact, it's an incident, it's an event, it happened. Great, move on.